Have you ever wondered how astronauts could survive long-duration space missions without aging significantly or exhausting their resources? Welcome to the enigma of hypersleep, a concept that has been a staple in the realm of science fiction for decades. It's a fascinating subject that has captured the imagination of writers, filmmakers, and scientists alike. So, what is hypersleep exactly? Well, it's essentially a state of induced hibernation, a deep sleep if you will, that significantly slows down the body's metabolic processes. This allows for the conservation of resources and reduces the physical and mental toll on astronauts during extended space travel. The concept of hypersleep finds its roots in the creative minds of science fiction authors who envisioned a future where humans could travel vast distances across the cosmos without succumbing to the passage of time or running out of vital supplies. But why is it necessary? Consider this. A one-way trip to Mars, our closest planetary neighbor, can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months with current technology. Now, imagine voyages that span years or even decades. Issues such as food supply, waste management, and the psychological impact of isolation become significant obstacles. These challenges make the concept of hypersleep not just desirable, but essential for the future of long-duration space travel. However, it's not just about flipping a switch and waking up years later on a distant planet. There are numerous scientific, medical, and ethical questions to consider. How can we safely induce and maintain this state of hypersleep? What are the potential side effects on the human body? How do we ensure the astronauts' health and safety during such a long period of unconsciousness? These are just a few of the questions that researchers are grappling with as they delve deeper into the possibilities of hypersleep. Now let's dive into the intriguing concept of hypersleep. Hypersleep, also known as cryosleep, is not just a product of science fiction. In essence, it's a state of deep, prolonged sleep, a form of hibernation if you will, induced with the help of advanced technology. The idea behind it is to slow down the body's functions to a crawl, effectively pausing a person's life processes to conserve resources and extend life expectancy. Think of hypersleep as a fancy, high-tech version of a bear's winter hibernation. But instead of a few months, we're talking about years, even decades. Imagine, if you will, being able to sleep through an entire journey to a distant planet, waking up as fresh as a daisy, ready to start exploring. But how does it work, you ask? The science behind hypersleep is still mostly theoretical, but it involves lowering the body's temperature to reduce metabolic activity. In other words, your body would function so slowly that you'd need very little food, water, or oxygen. This could be incredibly beneficial for long-duration space travel where resources are limited. Hypersleep is also closely tied to the concept of suspended animation, a state where life processes are brought to a standstill. It's like hitting the pause button on life itself, allowing a person to remain in a state of stasis for extended periods. This isn't just useful for space travel, but could potentially revolutionize medical treatments as well. The potential benefits of hypersleep are immense. It could make long-duration space travel feasible, reduce the amount of resources needed for such missions, and even help astronauts avoid the harmful effects of cosmic radiation. Imagine the possibilities if we could master this technology. So, hypersleep could potentially solve the challenges of long-duration space travel. But how close are we to making it a reality? While hypersleep is a common trope in science fiction, the science behind it is still in its infancy. This fascinating concept of placing humans in a state of suspended animation for long-duration space travel has been romanticized in popular culture, from the iconic Star Wars to Interstellar. Yet, the reality is far from the silver screen depictions. In these fictional narratives, hypersleep is often depicted as a seamless process, with astronauts slipping into a deep sleep and waking up years later, perfectly preserved and ready to go. It's a compelling idea, isn't it? The ability to bypass the mundane reality of day-to-day life on a spaceship, waking up refreshed and ready to explore new worlds. However, the current scientific understanding of hypersleep is quite different. Scientists are only just beginning to understand the complex processes involved in inducing a state of suspended animation in humans. This is a delicate balance requiring precise control over body temperature, metabolism, and brain activity. It's akin to walking a tightrope, where the slightest misstep could result in serious harm or even death. Moreover, there are numerous challenges in implementing hypersleep. For instance, how do we ensure that the body doesn't atrophy during the long sleep? How do we prevent disorientation and cognitive impairment upon waking up? These are just a few of the many questions that scientists are grappling with. Despite these hurdles, the concept of hypersleep isn't purely the realm of science fiction anymore. Scientists are making significant progress in understanding the human body's response to induced hibernation. While we may not be ready to send astronauts into deep space in a state of hypersleep just yet, we are taking steps in the right direction. In fact, NASA is funding research into this area, with the hope of making long-duration space travel a reality. While the road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, the potential benefits are immense. Just imagine a future where we can explore distant galaxies without the constraints of time and aging. Despite the challenges, scientists are making strides in understanding and developing hypersleep. The science of hypersleep is rooted in the study of hibernation and suspended animation in nature. Let's delve deeper into the biological and physiological aspects of hypersleep. Much like hibernating animals, the human body in hypersleep would need to undergo significant changes. Body temperature, for instance, would drop drastically, mirroring the thermoregulation process seen in creatures like bears and bats during their long winter sleep. This drop in temperature doesn't just mean you'd feel a bit chilly. It's a key part of slowing down your body's metabolism, which is the rate at which your body uses energy. In a state of hypersleep, the metabolism would be so slow that a person could survive on minimal nutrients for an extended period, just as a hibernating bear lives off its fat stores. Then there's cellular activity. In a state of suspended animation, cellular functions, including growth and repair, would be significantly reduced. This could potentially limit the damage caused by aging and radiation, two significant challenges of long-term space travel. Research into hypersleep is ongoing, with scientists exploring various methods to induce this state safely. Some researchers are looking at the use of certain gases like hydrogen sulfide that can reduce metabolism. Others are studying the genes and proteins involved in natural hibernation, hoping to replicate these conditions artificially. Experiments have also been conducted on animals, with some promising results. For instance, certain species of mice have been successfully induced into a state of torpor, a short-term hibernation, using a technique called targeted temperature management. However, we are still a long way from fully understanding and safely implementing hypersleep in humans. The human body is complex, and placing it in a state of suspended animation presents many challenges, from preventing muscle atrophy to ensuring the mind remains healthy during the long slumber. As we can see, the science of hypersleep is complex and fascinating, and while we may not be ready to send astronauts into deep space in a state of hypersleep just yet, the research being done is paving the way for the future of space travel. So what does the future hold for hypersleep? As we delve deeper into the cosmos, the concept of hypersleep becomes not just fascinating, but also a necessity. The possibilities of hypersleep stretch beyond the realm of interstellar voyages. It could revolutionize the way we approach long-duration space travel, yes, but its potential applications are much more extensive. Imagine a world where medical patients could be placed in a state of suspended animation to slow the progression of a disease or to buy precious time until a treatment becomes available. Or consider the possibility of military personnel being put into hypersleep during long deployments, preserving their physical and mental well-being. However, as with any powerful tool, hypersleep brings its own set of ethical and practical considerations. The idea of putting a human being into a state of suspended animation raises profound questions. What are the psychological impacts of essentially skipping through time? How do we ensure the safe revival of those in hypersleep? And perhaps most importantly, who gets to decide when and how this technology is used? Then, there are the practicalities. The technology required to induce and maintain a state of hypersleep is still in its infancy. It demands enormous resources and meticulous precision. Today we're only beginning to scratch the surface of what might be possible. What we do know is that the future of hypersleep is intrinsically tied to our future as a spacefaring species. It could be the key to unlocking the vast expanse of the cosmos, allowing us to venture further and stay longer in space than ever before. But the journey to make hypersleep a reality is not going to be easy. It will require scientific breakthroughs, ethical debates, and a collective will to push the boundaries of what we believe is possible. Despite the hurdles, the potential benefits of hypersleep make it a field worth exploring. After all, the stars are within our reach. It's just a matter of how and when we decide to grasp them. Today, we've taken a journey into the intriguing world of hypersleep. We started off by exploring the enigma that it is, a concept that's been a staple of science fiction for decades, alluring us with the prospect of long-duration space travel. We understood that hypersleep, also known as cryosleep or suspended animation, is the idea of slowing down the body's metabolic processes to a near halt, enabling humans to endure extensive space journeys. We went on to delve into how hypersleep has been projected in popular culture, from Ripley's hibernation pod in Alien to the cryo chambers in Interstellar. But we also demystified the fact versus fiction aspect of it. We discovered that while hypersleep may seem like a far-fetched idea, it's not entirely outside the realm of scientific possibility. We unveiled the science behind hypersleep, explaining how it's more than just a deep sleep. It's about slowing down the body's functions to a state of near suspension, reducing the need for resources and minimizing the physical and psychological effects of long-term space travel. We learned about the ongoing research in hibernation and torpor states in animals, and how this could potentially be applied to humans. Finally, we gazed into the future of hypersleep. We discussed the potential applications of this concept, not just for interstellar travel, but also for medical purposes here on Earth. We explained how hypersleep could revolutionize space travel, making long-duration missions to Mars and beyond a reality. As we stand on the cusp of exciting developments in space travel, the concept of hypersleep continues to captivate us. Who knows? Maybe one day we might just be able to sleep our way to the stars.